Hello, this is Reverend Christie Hardwick with Consciousness Cafe and Wisdom Wednesdays, part of SoulCall Ministries. I'm here today with a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Kristin Hull, who is the founder of Nia Capital Investments. I think I've got that right, or Investment Capitals. She'll straighten it out for me. Just knowing that it's a company that has that kind of triple bottom line that I love to see, that cares about the planet, cares about people, and our financial well-being. So I want to just welcome Kristin Hull.
Hello, and Christy, thank you so much for having me today.
Yay. So glad you're here. So tell us a little bit about the founding of this company. I know you from like decades ago and your family a little bit, and I know that you have cared about the consciousness of how we're living on the planet, but this is a big move to go into the financial industry. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. And so it's actually me going right back to my roots and just bringing my values with me. So as you might remember, my dad actually started a trading firm in our garage when I was 14. And I have been doing puts and calls and pork bellies as a way to connect with my father, for many, many decades. When I met you, I was a school teacher and really dedicated to urban classrooms and to reducing inequalities through our educational system. In that time, I realized that women and people of color don't really have a firm grasp of the investment conversation, and that for a long time, in fact, maybe since inception, we have been left out. And if I could share some of the investment skills and the knowledge that I have by creating a really transparent, solutions focused product, that might be my highest use. And so that's what we've done. Nia, as many of you know, means intention and purpose. And it's actually a Kwanzaa principle. And we help people invest their money with intention and purpose. And so solutions focused companies, specifically in the public market, and then some on the outside. And so we have a portfolio that is available, and we're trying to democratize access to just the really good investing.
Oh, beautiful. So the idea, I mean, you said so much there. I just love that it came from education and then moving into the financial area and saying, this is what I know something about, and to help people become prosperous. I mean, this team that we work with here at SoulCall Ministries is about the idea of raising the consciousness on the planet and helping people with all areas of their life. And prosperity is a big piece of it. And having knowledge is such a big piece of it. So you sharing your knowledge is really fantastic. How long have you been doing this particular company?
I entered this space in 2007, realized that I was pretty good at what we call impact investing. I would say that all investments have impact, but it's our job to be conscious of the impacts that they're having, and then to really be able to have the skills and the strategy to direct our investments into the world and the economy that we want, and into the world that we all want to live in. So started in 2007, and then this iteration of this company, I've been building and iterating as I've gone. I've been doing this about since 2012.
Wow, beautiful. So you've really been at it and thinking it through. And we all are investing in something. We invest our time, our resources, our money in something. And we also invest our time in our careers. And all those investments are having returns for us. So tell me what the impact means in your company. What does impact mean?
Sure. So, well, we don't work necessarily exactly with banks, and yet many of us, do keep money in banks. And so, choosing those banks that are investing into their local communities, particularly with women and people of color entrepreneurs, as opposed to some of the international pipelines and fossil fuel projects that can be really extractive, both from planet and from the people. And so directing our money toward CDFIs, which are local community banks. And then with us at NIA, we have 6 solution themes. We invest a portfolio across those themes, everything from renewable energy and sustainable planet to natural and organic foods to education and communications, and then of course healthcare. And in healthcare, we're thinking of those diseases for those that have been marginalized. So women and people of color, we're looking at particularly companies that are addressing, say, HIV and AIDS, that might have been considered one of our first pandemics and wasn't addressed in that way. Sickle cell, which is particularly to the Black community and has not gotten enough attention, as well as some of our women-directed diseases. And so investing into companies that are working on some of our biggest solutions needed and really making sure that they have the teams to execute. And for us, that means diversity and leadership. So we are strong advocates of diversity inclusion programs, and we help each one of our companies make sure that they have the best practices in diversity inclusion.
Wow. So you're really kind of holding people to a standard to be part of your portfolio, even if they're not perfect, but they're reaching forward and you're having some influence on them. And I like the idea of impact in terms of the positive impact. You want to see a world that works for everyone. And you're also trying to avoid any kind of investment in companies that are having the opposite impact, meaning destructive for the planet or destructive for community or not helping community, but actually breaking community apart. So you're looking at the real impact of that business in addition to the impact it's going to have on someone's finances and teaching us to do the same thing. Say, where does your dollar go, right?
That's right. And there's no perfect company, so we are meeting all of our companies. Of course, we're proud of all of them. They're kind of like our babies and we fit them into the portfolio, and we maintain active engagement with them because we are urging them to be better where they can be. And then we send out a impact report every quarter highlighting some of the different pieces of the positive impact that our companies are having. So as a way to bring investors in, and I guess our goal would be that each of our investors knows what they own, is so proud of what they own, and is able to really benefit and get financial returns from these specifically, awesome companies.
Beautiful. And not everyone, I recognize that it's a real privilege to be able to invest money with a firm, and not all of us can do that, and some can. But everyone can learn from the idea of paying attention to where you put your resources and what you make an investment in. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about, with the few minutes that we have with you, you're a woman in an industry that's primarily dominated by men in terms of firms and even the people at the firms running the firms, just like the Fortune 500 and the number of women, which is very few. It's an unfortunate thing, but it makes a difference that you're there because you're blazing the way. So how is that for you? Were you conscious of the idea that you were a woman blazing a trail where very few women have tread in terms of founding an investment company?
Oh, Christy, such a good question. So I I really didn't know. I mean, I knew there were fewer women, and I certainly didn't see many people of color in any of my meetings. I thought, I'm from Oakland, California, and I thought for sure all the cool women in finance were hanging out in New York or Boston, or, and that I was just missing the party. It just turns out there are so few of us. And COVID times has actually, made an awareness just now that we're meeting online, there are very few of us. And in fact, the Knight Foundation out of Florida commissioned Harvard to do a study. And they've done it a couple of years. In the 2019 numbers, women and people of color combined make up 1.3% of the $70 trillion in asset management. So 1.3%. So we have a long way to go. And of course, who's at the table making decisions about which companies are going to be funded in our economy? We need some more balance there, and the balance is going to serve everybody. And so, of course, women and people of color have their own experiences, and we bring those experiences to our asset management. And I do think the economy and investors are leaving money on the table by not investing in some of these other ways. Of course, it's harder to find us because there's so few of us. So we do have a Change the Face of Finance internship program, and we are actively trying to help train people in the NEO way of investing so that we can move those numbers, and we can only go up from here.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's awesome. And what a beautiful thing you're doing by being an example and saying it's possible, even if it seems like a place where there's a wall up because there's so many people that are not like you that are in the business. But you come to the table and you're managing your own table and inviting others to take a look at what that means. So tell me a little bit about what it's taking for you to do that from a life standpoint. Now you have a family, but you're balancing not only founding and running a very complex business that has a lot of stresses involved. So, what kinds of things do you do to keep yourself centered and capable?
Oh, what a lovely question. I really do get a lot of purpose and meaning out of this work. And so empowering other people and trying to shine a light on that we can do finance different and we can deconstruct Wall Street and, rebuild it in a way that makes sense and serves more people lights me up for sure. I definitely have a meditation practice, and pre-COVID times, I had a pretty strong yoga practice. That has somewhat disappeared. I need to get that back. I have a dog who needs to be walked, and we have lovely hikes around Oakland, so I am out and about with the dog, nature bathing to the extent we can do that. California's been tricky with the fires, so we are, relishing clean air. And just when we get to take a deep breath, we really enjoy that deep breath. And so those are some of the things. And then, of course, connecting with those that I can and sweet, sweet, wonderful leaders like you over Skype when I can.
Beautiful. I'm so glad to hear that you have your practices because everyone needs them. And I love that you have that combination of driving some very big thing, moving it up the mountain, and taking care of yourself at the same time. We try to help our listeners learn that you can achieve great things, and while achieving great things, still take care of yourself. And the important thing about why I wanted to talk to you was forging a way where it doesn't seem a way, a way through no way, as they say. And if you have a dream and an idea and you want to discern what's yours to do, you take like what you did, which is this is what I've learned, this is what I know. I'm a teacher. I have a family that was in the financial area. I learned this skill. How can I share this and make the world a better place and make it a world that works for everyone, which I know is something that you and I share as a goal to see if we can include more people at every table. And I so appreciate you and what you're doing.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you so much. And thank you for highlighting this and what a wonderful way to connect with you today.
Yes, thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you again soon.
Okay, take care.
Thanks.